You know those moments where life throws such a curveball that you're convinced you've wandered into the wrong movie? Well, buckle up because you probably won't survive this story without muttering at least once, "No way, that just happened." So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments. Let's see who's tuning in from a midnight snack run and who's secretly listening during class. Now picture this: Meadowbrook Hills playground. Perfectly trimmed hedges, swings squeaking in rhythm, and the scent of overpriced lattes drifting from nearby strollers. The kind of place where million-dollar homes mean million-dollar gossip. Victoria Richardson, CEO extraordinaire, billionaire by hard grind and sharp instincts, is pushing her 7-year-old daughter, Emma, gently on the swing. Emma hasn't spoken a word in 3 long years, not since the accident that took her father. Therapists, specialists, even a rumored hypnotherapist flown in from Zurich, none of it worked. Silence was her shadow. Then it happens. A man kneels beside the swing, his hands still streaked with dirt from pruning roses. Marcus Thompson, the condo's gardener, crouches low, his voice calm like still water. He doesn't coo or command, just listens. And Emma's sweet, silent. Emma breathes out a word. Hello. One word, but it thunders louder than a stadium roar. Victoria freezes, her coffee slipping from her fingers. The last sound Emma made was a cry at her father's funeral, and now, here it was again, fragile, crystal clear. Of course, not everyone celebrates miracles. Patricia Whitmore, Queen Bee of the Residents Association, nearly snaps a nail pointing at, "Get your daughter away from that man." Her shrill tone slices the morning like a malfunctioning fire alarm. Neighbors stiffen, phones twitch in hands, ready to record drama disguised as concern. Patricia lowers her voice, but not her venom, especially here in our playground. As if the patch of mulch is a throne room and she the crowned monarch. Marcus rises slowly, calm in the way only someone who's seen storms bigger than gossip can be. His eyes meet Victoria's, steady, almost unervingly sure. Not anger, not shame, just a presence that unsettles Patricia more than any raised voice could. Emma tugs her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, he heard me. He really heard me." 3 years of silence, cracked wide open by a man most neighbors treated like a shadow in uniform. Victoria tries to steady her racing thoughts. She's poured millions into cutting-edge research for her company on communication technology. She's bankrolled experts who claim breakthroughs. Yet here, under the morning sun, a gardener achieves in 2 minutes what no one else could. Historians still argue whether destiny is a matter of choice or chance. But in that moment, Victoria feels both crashing together. Patricia huffs, still convinced Marcus is plotting some devious scheme involving juice boxes and property values. But Emma doesn't budge. "Thank you," she says again, louder this time. The words sound like a dam breaking. Marcus bows his head slightly, a quiet smile on his lips. "It was a pleasure to meet you, little Emma. Keep using that beautiful voice." He wheels away his battered tool cart, and only then does Victoria notice the limp in his left leg, the scars along his forearm. They don't fit the picture of a man simply trimming shrubs for a paycheck. Emma's tiny hand slips into her mother's. For the first time in years, it feels alive with words. The following morning, Marcus arrives before dawn, toolbox rattling, steam from his thermos curling in the cold air. But instead of roses or hedges, what greets him is a paper pinned to the back gate. Inappropriate behavior with minors. Last warning before dismissal. Patricia's elegant signature is sprawled at the bottom like it's the declaration of condescension. Marcus folds it neatly, tucks it into his pocket, and doesn't flinch. 2 tours in Afghanistan, 3 years clawing for any job that would ignore his limp, and a lifetime of dodging prejudice. This script isn't new. But this time, something is different. He's not entirely alone, because out of nowhere comes the sound that Patricia loathes most, Emma's voice. "Marcus!" She runs across the lawn, curls bouncing, words tumbling fast like she's making up for 3 years in one breath. "Good morning. Last night, I told Mom about you, and she said you must be very special. Patricia follows, shrieking like a hawk. Emma Richardson, get away from him right now. But Emma plants herself by Marcus, declaring with all the bravery of 7-year-old philosopher, but he's my friend. Patricia's face nearly combusts. She accuses, points, postures. This man, this gardener, you don't know where he came from, what kind of life he's had. Marcus finally rises, calm but cutting. You're right. Miss Emma doesn't know. Just as you don't. That pause, that measured tone, carries more authority than her shrieks ever could. Victoria arrives just in time, weary from nights spent Googling Marcus Thompson, searching for clues. She's a CEO used to data, used to measurable results. And nothing about Marcus adds up. Victoria ignores Patricia's protests. Emma hasn't spoken in 3 years. If Marcus has helped her, I encourage this. Patricia sputters about ulterior motives, the usual bogeyman of prejudice. Yet Victoria notices Marcus's posture, how he scans exits, catalogs movements, shoulders always half prepared, like a soldier off duty but never truly off guard. And then there's the scar just above his collar, the kind surgeons acquire in nightmares, not flower beds. When she asks, "Have you worked with children before?" Patricia scoffs. But Marcus answers with an almost cryptic calm, "I've worked with many people who needed to find their voice." A sentence so loaded it sends Victoria's mind spinning. This isn't about pruning roses. This is about survival, healing, maybe even redemption. Historians still argue whether identity is defined by what we do or what we endure. But here's a man who seems to embody both. That night, in his cramped apartment shared with 2 veterans, Marcus dials a number he hasn't touched in 5 years. Washington, D.C. Colonel Davidson, this is DR. Marcus Thompson. I need my complete military records. The line crackles. Marcus? My God, son, you disappeared after the hospital. We've been looking for you. The colonel's voice softens, carrying the weight of memories best left buried. Marcus stares at his scarred hands, dirt under the nails from gardens, not surgeries. I've been finding myself, but now I need to prove who I really am. I need my medical certificates, decorations, and especially the Kandahar report. Silence comes on the line. Then, Marcus, you saved 17 Afghan children that day. 14 hours, no anesthesia, under fire. You're a war hero, one of the best surgeons we've ever had. Marcus doesn't feel like a hero. He feels like a gardener dismissed by neighbors who see only skin, limp, and paycheck. But the colonel's voice cuts through his doubt. It's time you remembered who you are. And across town, Patricia pours tea for her allies, whispering poison about Marcus's supposed schemes. They don't know their target isn't a Gardner theory poking a decorated surgeon, a veteran who's seen life and death, and a man about to turn prejudice into its own undoing. 2 days later, the condominium event hall brims with designer handbags and brittle smiles. Patricia Whitmore stands at the front, pearls gleaming, papers stacked as if she's presenting at a Fortune 500 board meeting instead of staging a witch hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, she begins with syrupy gravity. We face a grave security issue. This gardener poses a danger to our children. Murmurs ripple like nervous pigeons. Marcus sits quietly in the back row, still in his work uniform, shoulders squared but relaxed. He listens as Patricia parades her evidence, half-truth from a private investigator, whispered suspicions delivered like gospel. Margaret Thornton adds spice, psychological problems, PTSD, clearly unstable. Catherine Blackwell smirks, unfit for our community. It's the trifecta of ignorance, served steaming hot. When Patricia calls for his dismissal, Marcus rises. His voice is no longer the gentle murmur of a gardener. It's the kind of steady command that belongs in operating rooms and battlefield tents. May I clarify a few points before you vote? He walks forward, limp almost gone, presence filling the hall. From his pocket, he pulls official documents, Bronze Stars, citations, his title DR. Marcus Thompson, combat surgeon. Gasps ripple. Patricia pales, mumbling excuses, but Marcus continues, pulling out his recorder. One click, and Patricia's own venom echoes through the speakers. People like him always try to take advantage. Another click, and Margaret's words spill out, accusing him of suspicious behavior with children. Finally, Catherine's snide dismissal plays back with perfect clarity. Their own voices weaponized against them. Neighbors shift uncomfortably, cell phones lower. Victoria steps forward, fierce as any CEO in a courtroom. She lays down her evidence. Marcus's spotless record, his Johns Hopkins degree, his years as a pediatric trauma specialist. She tells them Emma hadn't spoken in 3 years until Marcus. "He gave me my daughter back," she declares, holding back tears. The room, once dripping with suspicion, now crackles with shame. Marcus adds quietly, "I work as a gardener because hospitals wouldn't look past my scars. Because some people saw only color, not credentials. But I refuse to let their prejudice define me." His gaze sweeps the room. "You wanted to strip me of dignity. Instead, you revealed your own." The silence is suffocating. Patricia stammers, tries to regain control, but the foundation of her power collapses beneath her. Within weeks, lawsuits rain down, reputations implode. Patricia's marriage dissolves. Margaret's husband loses re-election. Catherine's fortune drains as investors flee. Meanwhile, Marcus accepts Victoria's offer as Director of Human Development at Richardson Tech. From pushing a cart of tools, he now pushes programs that help hundreds of children rediscover their voices. 6 months later, the same playground is renamed DR. Marcus Thompson Park. Emma runs with other kids, chatter spilling like music. "When I grow up, I'll be a doctor like Uncle Marcus," she shouts. Victoria smiles, tears in her eyes. Marcus arrives in a BMW now, not a tool cart, but still with the same quiet humility. When a new family hesitates at the edge of the park, Marcus extends his hand. "Welcome to the neighborhood. I live in a penthouse of Building 5. If you ever need anything, you can count on me." Later, walking home with Victoria and Emma, he reflects aloud, "It was never about revenge. It was about making sure no one else suffers what I did." The best revenge, he realizes, isn't tearing others down, it's building something so extraordinary their pettiness becomes invisible. And so, the story fades not in fireworks, but in something gentler. A little girl's laughter, a community reborn, and a man who turns scars into seeds for change. The playground swings creak softly, the evening sun stretches long shadows, and the world feels just a little kinder than before. The noise of conflict has quieted now, replaced by slower rhythms, like the steady breathing of a world finally at rest. Marcus's journey reminds us that time has a way of sanding down the edges of pain, reshaping it into something both softer and stronger. He began as the gardener nobody noticed, a figure in the background, yet ended as a symbol of resilience standing in the sunlight, not by force, but by quiet persistence. Victoria, once frantic in her search for answers, learned that healing doesn't always come from experts in white coats or high-rise offices. Sometimes it arrives in the most unexpected form, through a scarred hand steadying a child, through a voice calm enough to invite silence to break. And Emma, whose muteness once seemed permanent, discovered that words can return not when demanded, but when welcomed, like shy birds alighting after years away. The women who tried to shatter Marcus's dignity found themselves undone not by anger, but by their own reflections. Prejudice rarely survives the bright light of truth. It crumbles, leaving behind only the lesson that arrogance cannot shield anyone from consequence. In contrast, Marcus's dignity only grew stronger the more it was tested. Now picture the park at dusk, children's laughter thinning into giggles, golden light softening the edges of swings and slides. Marcus stands quietly, not needing to announce his victories. The world can see them for itself in Emma's voice, in Victoria's trust, in the way families once hesitant now walk freely across the grass. So let the story linger in your mind like twilight that refuses to leave. Remember that the truest strength often whispers, not shouts. And as you close your eyes tonight, may that whisper remind you, Scars do not define us, what we build with them does.